Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Now we have a lot to cover in today's video, so I'm gonna go ahead and get us started with some highlights and updates. All right, so first things first, highlights and updates. I wanted to share those with you. So I hope you enjoyed this week's options of STEM activities, of course. The first option is, I really love the first option, which is to grow a rainbow. So I'm excited to see who picks that. That's gonna look really cool, I can imagine. Okay, all the other options are gonna be cool as well. So go ahead and check it out, see what you wanna do for this week for science, okay? The number two, remember to keep up with the Math lessons. You need 3 past lessons each week. You know this. Number three, remember to be practicing multiplication division facts in some kind of way, okay? Number 4, incentive question. It's always on our class period math page. You have to take a look. Those posts that I give you, your math work, it's in that exact same post. You have to click more so you can see the entire post. Okay, so the incentive question, you can see it right here. What is the product of 850? Okay, product keyword, 850. And then as a hint, I wrote in parentheses, do not forget what needs to be added to this answer, okay? So when you figure the product of 850, okay? Then you're gonna message that to me on Edmodo, and then you'll be entered into the drawing if it's correct, and I'll, of course, let you know if you got it correct or if you need to try again, okay? Number 5, last thing, okay, so this week we are working on place value relationships. I told you this already. Now, this video will focus on the lesson only. This video that I'm talking in right now will focus on the lesson only. I will post the video to the answers to your independent work at 11:40 a.m. So today, for just today, you're gonna have 2 videos that you're gonna need to look at because I'm giving you the lesson right after this, and then I'm going to give you the answers and go over the work for your independent work for today. So you'll need to focus in on this lesson right now, then you're gonna do your independent work, then you're gonna come back to check your answers for the work that you did, okay? So today's the only day that you're gonna have 2 lessons for this week, okay? All the other days will be completely normal, all right? Now I'm gonna get you started with a place value chart, reminding ourselves of what place value looks like, and then we're gonna get right into step up to 4th grade, okay? All right, so I wanted to show you a chart on place value so we can refresh our memories on that. So first things first, when you're looking at place value, specifically the number or the chart itself, you always want to look from the right and work your way up to the left, okay? So I know we read and write from left to right, but in place value, when you're looking at the numbers or when you're looking at the chart, you want to look at it from right to left, okay? So in this case, you're going to look at it from the 1s to the 10s, and then after the 10s comes the 100s. And I'm not sure if we went over this, but I'm going over it now. Well, 1s, 10s, and 100s, it's all in the 1s period. Okay, so remember that. And then once you move on after the 100s and go to thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, what period do you think that's in? Yep, you got it, the thousands period. So you went from the 1s period, which included the 1s, 10s, and 100s, then you went to the thousands period, which included the thousands, 10,000s, and the 100,000s. Then after the thousands period comes the millions period, because you see the millions here. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but as I said before, remember this pattern is just being continued. So you go from 1s, 10s to 100s, and then when you go to the thousands period, you do the exact same thing with the 1s and 10s and the 100s, all right? Now that we have that in our brains, or refreshed in our minds, okay, we're gonna go over standard form here. So standard form, it's actually just writing out that number and not forgetting your commas, okay, if needed. Your word form, you're gonna sound it out and spell it exactly how it sounds. So 4,928,653. That's the example that you see right here that they're included in standard form. They just wrote it in word form, of course. And then base 10 form, you know this. Expanded form, you're actually just adding the place value into expression. So you're just breaking it apart into place value into expression. So 4,900,000, 20,000, 8,000, 650, and then 3, and just adding it out into expanded form, just like they did there, okay? So I'm going to include this chart on the class period page on Edmodo, so you have it to work with. Now I'm gonna move on to the step up to 4th grade lesson in the textbook. I know you don't have it, so I'm gonna share my screen here with you, okay? All right, so today's lesson, as I said, is step up to 4th grade. So lesson 1, place value relationships, we're working on that today. As I said, our objective for today. I can recognize that a digit in one place has 10 times the value of the same digit in the place to its right. Okay, so let's read that solve and share question. It says, what is the relationship between the value of the first 5 and the value of the second 5 in 5,500? Solve this problem any way you choose. Okay, so as we went over in the place value chart, there's a 1s period, then the thousands period, especially when working with this number right here. Okay, so keeping that in mind, I went ahead and wrote out the number. And I started from the right to the left as I told you to do when you're reading a place value, a number with place value, or when you're writing it in a chart to use place value, okay? So that first 0 would go in ones, 0 in tens, 5 in hundreds, and then the other 5 in the 1,000s place, okay? Because we have 5,500. Now, if you take a look, the second objective says, I can also reason about math. You're thinking about that place value as you're thinking about the relationship of the 5s, okay? So taking a look at the 5s, you notice that the first 5 is in the 1,000s place, and the 5 directly next to it to the right is in the hundreds place. That tells you that the 5 in the 1,000s place is 10 times greater than the 5 in the hundreds place, okay? And that's that relationship between that. I'm gonna flip the page for a deeper understanding, okay? Now this page allows us to unravel the essential question. So how are the digits in a multi-digit number related to each other? Okay, so we're gonna take a look at a Kiana example, and she's gonna tell us exactly what we need to be looking for today. Okay, so part A says Kiana collected 1,100 bottle caps. What is the relationship between the values of the digit 1 in each place? She says a place value chart, which is what I introduced to you, and I'm gonna post on the Edmodo page, can help you examine the relationships between digits in a number. So we have those visual, the bottle caps that she has, 1,100 bottle caps, okay? And then she gives us the chart of the ones period and thousands period because we have 1,100. The 0 goes in the ones, the 0 goes in the tens, 1 goes in the hundreds, and the first 1 goes in the 1,000s place, okay? Taking a look at part B, we have 1,100. The first one is in the thousands place, as we said, its value is 1,000, okay? The second one is in the hundreds place, the value is 100, okay? All right, taking a look at part C, it says, how is 1,000 related to 100? Okay, 10 hundreds are equal to 1,000. Therefore, when we take a look at this next part, which is very important, I'm going to read it twice. It says, when two digits next to each other in a number are the same, the value of the digit on the left is always 10 times as great as the digit on the right. Okay, so we'll take a look at that one more time. When two digits next to each other in a number are the same, the value of the digit on the left is always 10 times as great as the digit on the right, okay? Now I'm gonna flip the page for another example, and then I'm going to tell you what you're gonna need to do, and I'm gonna show some examples, and you'll be on your way to do your independent, okay? Let's move to the next page. All right, so here we have another example. You can see that it's introducing us to the millions period. All right, let's first take a look at what it's showing us. So here we have the first 9 is in the hundreds, thousands place, okay? Its value is 900,000. The second 9 is in the 10,000s place. Its value is 90,000. And then the value of the first 9 is 10 times as great as the value of the second 9. So when we look at this, we have 990,000, okay? And then here we have the ones period, the thousands period, and the millions period. Remember, you go from right to left when working with place value in a chart or taking a look at the number to know the place value of each number, each digit. Okay, so we have the 0 in ones, a 0 in tens, a 0 in the hundreds place, and we have a 0 in 1,000s place, a 9 in 10,000s place, and a 9 in the 100,000s place, okay? Now, the only ones that we're gonna cover here are number 1. I'm gonna show you some examples on my paper after going over number 1, and then you will only do 3 through 12. For those that are watching, you will only do 3 through 12 for your independent work for today, okay? We're gonna skip number 2, yes. All right, so number 1, reasoning. Is the value of the first 7 10 times as great as the value of the second 7 in 7,027? Explain. The answer is no, because the 7s are not next to each other. So therefore the 7s cannot be 10 times, the first 7 cannot be 10 times as great as the 7 in the ones place, okay? Notice how they're apart, they're not next to each other, and they need to be next to each other to be 10 times as great, okay? Let's take a look. Oh, examples. I have some examples for you, and then you'll be on your way, okay? To do 3 through 12. All right, now before I get into my examples, I know some of you are probably ready to get started. You're probably like, Mr. B, this is easy, but just stay tuned because you might miss something, okay? So taking a look with my examples here, I'm going to name the values of the given digits in each number, and then going into what is the relationship between the values of the given digits that I have, okay? So taking a look at the first one, my examples, I asked for the 3s in 3,300. First things first, you go from right to left when thinking about place value. You know that this 0 is in the ones place, then tens place, then hundreds place, then thousands place. And that's how you read for place value in the number. Okay, so when I ask you for this 3 right here, I know that this 3 is in the thousands place, so that would be 3,000. That's the value of it, okay? When I ask you for the second 3, you know that when you start from right to left, that this is from 1s to 10s to the hundreds. So this value of the second 3 would be 300. And that's how you see that, okay? Now the relationship is that this first 3 is 10 times as great as the second 3, okay? Because this is in the thousands versus the hundreds. All right, my second example, the 7s in 370,700, okay? So remember, when you're taking a look at place value in the number or a chart, you read from right to left. So you have the 1s, 10s, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So what would be the value of this second 7 when you're working your way up from the right to the left? It would be 700 because it's in the hundreds place. Now, when you think about the second 7 or the first 7, however you want to read it, when you think about this and you're going from right to left and you know this is the hundreds place, you know this would be the thousands after the hundreds. Then you have the 10,000s. So if this 7's in the 10,000s, that means the value of it is 70,000, okay? My third example, so the 6s in 675,600, okay? When you read from right to left, you know the 1s, 10s, then hundreds, so that second or first 6, however you want to read it, would be 600. That's the value of it. Then when you keep going after the hundreds, you have thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. So you know the value of the very first or second, however you read it, is going to be 600,000 because it's in the 100,000s place, okay? So that's the value of it. Now, my fourth example and question to you is, what group of numbers shows the values of the 7s in 57,707, okay? Now, when you're thinking about that, you're thinking about the values of the 7 specifically, okay? And I'm gonna write those out because we've done those with the examples up there, okay? So you know that when you're reading for place value in a number or a chart, you start from right and work your way towards the left, okay? You go from the 1s to the 10s to the hundreds to the thousands to the 10,000s. So what would the value of the 7 be? It would be 7. What would the value of this 7 right here be? 700, because 1s, 10s, hundreds, okay? So far I have 2 numbers that would be included in the group, okay? Then if I keep going from the 1s to the 10s to the hundreds to the thousands, I know that this 7 right here would represent 7,000. So my group of numbers that show the values of the 7 in 57,707 would be 7, 700, and 7,000. All right, you're good to go on your independent. I'm done here. You're going to check back at 11:40 for the answers to the work that you did for today. You're going to do numbers 3 through 12. All right. For those that are staying tuned, I'm going to play a FlowCAD video on place value.
FlowCAD. You know, numbers change when you move them around. Listen, you could have a 1 in the hundreds place, and a 1 in the tens place, and a 1 in the ones place. That's 111. Yeah. You could have a 3 in the hundreds place, and a 2 in the tens place, and a 1 in the ones place. That's 321. Yeah. You could have a 5 in the hundreds place, and a 9 in the tens place, and a 3 in the ones place. That's 593. You could have a 6 in the hundreds place, and a 6 in the tens place, and an 8 in the ones place. That's 668. Yeah, if you're listening, you know the game. Not all numbers are the same. Values change in a place, okay? We move a number, switch a number, drop a number, flip a number. If you're listening, you know the game. Not all numbers are the same. Values change in a place, okay? We move a number, switch a number, drop a number, flip a number. You could have a 9 in the hundreds place, and a 4 in the tens place, and a 2 in the ones place. That's 942. You could have a 3 in the hundreds place, and a 0 in the tens place, and a 9 in the ones place. That's 309. You could have a 1 in the hundreds place, and the 5 in the tens place, and the 5 in the ones place. That's 155. Yeah, you could have an F to the L to the O, and a C and an A and a B, and a U and an L and an A, all Y vocabulary. Yeah, if you're listening, you know the game. Not all numbers are the same. Values change in a place, okay? We move a number, switch a number, drop a number, flip a number. If you're listening, you know the game. Not all numbers are the same. Values change in a place, okay? We move a number, switch a number, drop a number, flip a number. Yeah, if you're listening, you know the game. Not all numbers are the same. Values change in a place, okay? We move a number, switch a number, drop a number, flip a number.